guarantee whatever the bill passes the Senate, how they see it, you'll give it a vote in the House?
Look, we're going to do in the House what we always do, and that is a deliberative process. I mean, we're going to find consensus on whatever the proposal is. So we'll see.
Will you bring it to the floor for a vote?
As you know, I do not guarantee the outcome of legislation or dates or deadlines or anything. I got to build consensus among the members, and that is what we will do.
But it's
exactly as we have always done, exactly as I always do.
But it's not guaranteeing an outcome. It's guaranteeing a vote.
No, I don't. I can't guarantee that.
That's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, warning he cannot guarantee a vote on Obamacare subsidies in the House as the Senate overnight passed the measure to end the government shutdown. The bill, plus 3 appropriations bills attached, now moves on to the House, where lawmakers in the House are expected to vote on that tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. Once that's passed in the House, it will head to the president's desk for the president to sign it into law. Meanwhile, the fight over SNAP funding is escalating to the Supreme Court. The Trump administration renewing an appeal to keep full SNAP payments frozen, citing the progress Congress has been making toward resolving this shutdown. The High Court expected to rule on that today. First, though, joining me now is Florida Congressman Mast. He is the chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Mr. Chairman, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here, and I want to thank you so much for your service to our great nation on this Veterans Day. I'm going to get to that in a moment. But, Mr. Chairman, what can you tell us about the shutdown and your expectations for the House passing this legislation out of the House so that the government reopens later this week? What do you think?
I think we will get it passed in the next 24 to 48 hours. It's obviously coming over from the Senate. I would tell the American people this: if there's roughly 265 Democrats between the House and the Senate, this getting over the finish line is because only a handful of them, let's say 8 to 15 in total, will have actually supported ending this government shutdown. The other 250 still want to keep the government closed down, don't want to pay TSA, don't want to pay air traffic controllers, the military, SNAP benefits, anything else. So it's a very small group of them that are working with us.
Well, this is very extraordinary, actually. I mean, when you consider the fact that this government has been closed for 42 days, and you're saying the bulk of Democrats right now are still saying, keep this going. Let's not reopen right now, and are upset with their few colleagues who've actually relented and gone and voted with Republicans. What kind of an impact is this going to have? I mean, do they not see that this is actually hurting the American people?
They're hoping for the pain on the American people. That's why they're upset that it's ending. They want the pain on the American people to continue because they saw it as leverage. They said no less. You can read see all the videos of them going out there saying that very thing. The Republicans, we don't want that pain on the American people. It doesn't make any sense, doesn't help our economy, doesn't help stability, doesn't help security within our armed forces and all of our agencies. It needs to come to an end just so we function well.
Yeah. I want to get your take on what's happening this week as well in foreign affairs. I mean, White House advisor Jared Kushner meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday to discuss the next stages of the Gaza ceasefire as Israel returned the remains of another 15 Palestinians, the remains of 4 hostages still in Gaza, Mr. Chairman. The next stage of the ceasefire calls for an implementation of a Gaza governing body and the deployment of an international stabilization force. What can you tell us?
So phase 1 was obviously return the hostages, return the bodies. Phase 2, getting rid of those Hamas fighters. I can tell you Ambassador to the UN, Waltz, is working diligently to put together a multinational force with those countries that were standing behind President Trump in Egypt when that peace was secured, figuring out who's going to be training the police force, who's going to have boots on the ground there, who's going to work to keep those fighters out of there and keep the peace going. It's actively going on to create that multinational force.
Yeah, I mean, the president also meeting with the head of Syria in the White House. I mean, it's really extraordinary things happening. You've got Kazakhstan joining the Abraham Accords. Tell us your thoughts on the Middle East today.
There's hope in the Middle East because there is a renewed sense that you can get peace in Syria. Bashar al-Assad is gone. I met with al-Shara, the Syrian president, about a half a day before President Trump met with him. I asked him very directly, and I think this is a profound thing for him to say. I asked him very directly, I was a soldier in the U.S. Army. You were in a part of al-Qaeda previously under al-Baghdadi. We were enemies. Why are we no longer enemies, was my question to him. And he said he wants to liberate himself from his past, and he wants to have a noble future for his people of Syria, one free of ISIS, one free of extremism, one where his people can prosper in a way that they never did under Bashar al-Assad. And that was a profound answer to have coming from him. And obviously the president has been working as well to lift those sanctions in 180-day windows that have been layered upon Syria. He just now did that again.
Yeah, it's a good point. Tiana, do you buy it?
This is my question, because I know that President Trump is in favor of revoking these Caesar Act sanctions on al-Shara. Congressman, I know you're sort of the lone wolf still holding out. What commitments would you need from the new Syrian government? I know the Israelis have concerns over the Druze and other ethnic minorities, and also security against radicals. What do you see as if you would change your opposition to removing those Caesar Act sanctions?
Look, they're making the right moves. We need to see that track record continue. With the president yesterday, they made their commitment to the anti-ISIS, the de-ISIS coalition. That's a big deal. Get rid of ISIS out of your country. Get rid of the foreign fighters. Help give us assurances that Iran, if you're given access to the financial markets and the systems and banking, that Iran isn't going to be able to go in there and conduct money laundering and other activities, that they're not going to play the role in Syria that they did previously.
Yeah.
And those things are things that we have to warm into and not just race into.
And of course, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia will be visiting President Trump at the White House next week. Any expectations there? What do you want to hear from the Saudis now?
Obviously, there's a great relationship between President Trump and the Saudis. They have been an active partner in making sure that any future in Gaza specifically is free of Hamas, Hezbollah, those foreign and terrorist fighters. So they've been very active in that. They've been a great player in that way in trying to secure peace throughout those various areas of the Middle East.
And President Trump told me about 2 weeks ago that he thinks that the Saudis will join the Abraham Accords, which would be huge. If the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia joined, that would certainly usher in many, many more countries behind it. But the president will lead ceremonies commemorating our military heroes today on this Veterans Day. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for your service. You served in the U.S. Army for more than 12 years. You were deployed in Afghanistan. You worked as a bomb disposal expert under the elite Joint Special Operations Command. We have an image showing what happened to you after an improvised explosive device went off, and I want to warn our audience that this is hard to look at. It went off, causing the catastrophic loss of both of your legs. You earned the Bronze Star Medal, the Army Commendation Medal for Valor, a Purple Heart, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal. You've gotten everything that you deserve, Mr. Chairman, and you continue to serve our nation. Thank you for your service. What do you want to say about all that you've seen?
I love Veterans Day. It's America's day to honor its people that put on a uniform in defense of this place. Tank drivers, ship drivers, helicopter drivers, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Marine Force, Recon Fighter pilots, all those people that they had that commitment. They said, I love this place. I want to defend this place. I want to be a part of the fabric of that flag that's standing there behind me. I want to be woven into that forever. They are the best of the best in our country. I couldn't love them more. To all my brothers and sisters in arms, thank you for your commitment to this place. Thank you for your service to this country. I love them to my core.
And it is the reason that this country is the home of the brave. Congressman, thank you so much. Good to see you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.